I've done well over 1,000 workouts over the past 5 years of weightlifting, 1 year of calisthenics, and there are a couple things that I have noticed when it comes to people who are just starting out, people who are intermediate, and people who are more advanced when it comes to the sport. In this video, I'm going to be giving you 5 brutal truths starting from the simplest ones all the way up to the most extreme. I've learned these things from my own personal experience doing calisthenics training for a very long period of time, nearly a third of my life. And also, I've learned from some of the best athletes I've managed to become friends with, because if you don't know, I own my own calisthenic community, link in my bio, and also I'm in a bunch of other communities where there are very, very high-level athletes that you can also join if you find them. One of them, Street Lifting Club. Again, no ego involved. Join that community, join my community. I also do coaching if you're interested in that. We can go on with the video, but I just want to mention all that just to get it out of the way. Thing number 1, the best way to progress in calisthenics is by getting a gym membership. If you want to achieve good skills, if you want to achieve good results in weighted, you can't just do it all from home. Now, I'm very fortunate that I have a full gym setup in my house, but there's still a couple pieces of equipment that I am missing. Simple things like benches, boxes, blocks, barbells, dumbbells, all of these things, proper dip stations, proper pull-up bars, all of these things are so important for getting to a level to where you're able to become strong, you're able to build up your tendons, you're able to build up your ligaments, and you're also able to make the maximum amount of progress. Yes, you can do workouts from home. Yes, you will make progress. But especially if your goal is strength, you're very, very limited on just progress you can make at home, because in order to get stronger, you need to add weight. You can add reps forever. That's going to help you get stronger a little bit, but it's not going to make a big compounding difference over time. You will plateau in your strength gains at some point, and you'll plateau in your muscle gains at some point. Also, it's very, very important to have a gym membership for these reasons. Another thing, it's very important to train your joints. It's very hard to train your joints specifically in a very consistent way that you can progressively overload, which means adding resistance over time, adding intensity over time from home. If you want to train your wrists for handstands, you can either go to the gym, get a dumbbell, get a barbell, curl it in. That's a very progressively manageable way to do it. It's very simple. I lifted 20 kilos this session. Next session, I'm going to lift 25. I'm going to lift 22 and a half. Something like that. If you're just doing leans on your wrist, you don't know if last time it was more intense. You don't know if this time is more intense. You don't know if it's too big of a jump in intensity. You want to be able to measure things as consistently as possible. And getting a gym membership is going to help with this. Same thing with your weighted pull-ups and weighted dips. Same thing with your leg movements. Same thing with even your skills movements. Being able to have a mirror and being able to see yourself as you perform skills or as you perform movements are just such underrated things that most people don't think about. Training more intensely because there are people around, because people are watching you. I personally don't have this problem because I love the sport. But beginners especially kind of need someone to look at them and someone to watch them and make sure they're doing the right things, because beginners who don't really love the sport a ton, who are just kind of getting into it, who aren't very good at it yet and don't understand the concept of making progress over time quite yet, they need that little extra push, and getting a gym membership is actually going to be super, super helpful for that. Thing number 2, calisthenics is a tendon and ligament sport. Having muscles is cool. You can see I'm obviously the most jacked human on the planet, Ronnie Coleman style. I'll put up a picture of him right now. We're obviously very comparable. But what matters more is the things you can't see. The tendons, that if you want to feel yours, if like you give a little flex to your arm, feel right here, there's a little hard like stringy thing. That's a tendon. Your ligaments are the thing that connects your bone to your bone, that connects your joints to your bone. These things need to be strong because it's such a tendon heavy sport. What happens is, for muscle ups, for example, when you pull up, that's a lot of pressure on your tendons because it's a sudden movement. On your wrists, when you pull up and you get over the bar and you're smacking all of that force down on your wrists and on your elbows, it's very easy to get injured. For planche, it's 100% tendons. You don't need to be strong at all to do planche. You need strong tendon integrity, and you need to be strong in that isometric position. You can be the strongest human on earth in bicep curls and front raises, which, if you think about it, your bicep and your front delt get used a ton in planche. You can be the best person at scapula presses or whatever you want to call it. If you don't have the connective tissue integrity to hold it, you're either going to be able to hold it and you're going to get hurt, or you're just not going to be able to hold it because your body's stopping you from holding it because it doesn't want you to get injured. One arm pull-ups, same thing. tons and tons and tons of tendon damage. Calisthenics skills take so long to learn because you have to wait for the tendons. Muscles heal after around 2 to 3 to 4 days, somewhere in between there. Tendons take anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks to make significant, and when I say significant, I really mean minor, to make noticeable change. It can take you 8 weeks to go from a 2-second planche to a 3 or 4-second planche because tendons just simply adapt slower. This is why doing weighted basics before starting skills is so important. This is why training your joints is so important, like your wrist and sometimes your elbow to a certain point. This is something that Ian Barsigal promotes a lot, which I love. Personally, if you're just focusing on street lifting, you don't have to do this. Your body will adapt, it'll get strong, all of the things will be completely fine. You don't need to focus on this at all. But if you're doing skills, a lot of weird stuff can happen if you make mistakes, because if you're learning the skill, you can't just not fall when learning how to do a handstand. Falling is part of it. If you're able to not fall and just not make mistakes, then you're going to be the best athlete on the planet within a year. But we do make these mistakes, and being stronger, having stronger tendons, having stronger joints, having stronger ligaments are going to allow you to be able to take less damage from those mistakes. And that's the message that I want to emphasize to you here. Number 3. Planche is one of the, if not the only skill, other than like higher level planche moves like Maltese or whatever, that building a base of strength doesn't really help with. Again, getting better weighted pull-ups and weighted dips will help some. Your tendons will be stronger. You'll be able to get to a higher level quicker. But in order to learn the planche, you just have to learn the planche. I haven't learned the planche yet because it's so specific that I wouldn't be able to train anything else. I have different goals from that right now. Once I get to 80 kilos for 10 reps on weighted dips, I will learn planche. And I'll be able to learn it fairly quickly because I put so much time into basics, even though the proportion of the amount of time completely disproportionate to I would have just been able to learn planche quicker if I would have started with it versus building a base of strength and then learning planche. It makes a small difference, but it's not significant at all. Learning how to do this skill isn't helped by building basics. It's helped by doing the progressions, doing planche leans, doing attempts, doing banded attempts, all this kind of stuff. These are going to be your most effective exercises, but keep in mind, it takes so long to learn because of the connective tissue integrity required. Your tendons, your joints, your ligaments, they all have to be so strong, especially if you're heavier and taller, that it takes so long to learn, and it's nearly impossible for some people. If you're above 173, 75 centimeters, I think that's like 5'10", oh my god, you're screwed. Don't give up, obviously, but it's going to take you so much longer than someone like me who's very upper body dominant and also not very heavy and also not very tall. I'm 163, 63 kilos. I'm lucky. I'm sorry, that's just the case. I'm very lucky when it comes to these things. But my base of strength isn't really going to help me. My genetics are, because I'm strong in all of the areas that are required for planche. I'm naturally strong in that scapula. I'm naturally strong in my bicep tendon because I'm naturally good at arm wrestling. That's a lot of bicep tendon. I'm naturally good at arm wrestling lifts and pulling and all that kind of stuff. But you need to train planche if you want to get good at planche. This basics 2-set method bullcrap isn't going to get you to that level. If you want to learn planche, learn planche. Basics help. They generalize you to where after you learn planche, you're able to learn handstand push-ups quicker. But if you really want to make the fastest progress, just be as specific as possible. Next one. 4th one, 99% of people will not have the energy or the ability to train to their full potential when they get to a high level. The stronger you are, the more you train, the harder it is to recover, the more fatigue you generate, the more you have to be kind of perfect when it comes to your recovery and when it comes to your training and when it comes to your planning. Most people who have jobs, who do school, who have all of these other things coming in, who want social lives, who want to eat whatever they want, whatever. These people have such a hard time to actually reach their full potential. When I say full potential, I mean 100% full potential. I mean everything is perfect. Like you live in a mountain in Dagestan, you only train calisthenics, you spend freaking 10 hours a day sleeping. You do all of the perfect habits. You eat perfectly. You do perfectly. You're never stressed. You're never tired. You're never fatigued. You have the perfect training program. This is like actual 10 out of 10 perfectness. Nobody's ever in history done that. Not even Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson with Custom Auto as his coach, at some point made even the smallest mistake. For a second during his 3-mile jog, one day out of 10 years, he thought to himself, I'm going to slow down a little bit. He probably slowed down for a second and then realized and then kept going. That tiny difference did technically affect his progress. Obviously not a big difference, but it did make a difference. When I say get to your full potential, I mean the best that you can do for you. And I just want to emphasize the point that if you're plateaued, if you're stuck, if you're not making progress, you are able to progress. You just have to go to the next level. And I'm saying that people will never make it to their full potential because it's impossible for everyone to actually make it to their full potential. Because if you think about it, when you were young, you ate a piece of cake one time probably. That took away from your full potential. If you want to get autistically detailed into it, all you can do now is just take things as serious as you possibly can. That doesn't mean stress about you eating a piece of cake when you were like 5 years old, whatever. Who cares? You ate a piece of cake. I'll still eat cake. I'll eat cake right now. Yesterday I was like munching on all my Yesterday I was munching on like all my nephew's muffins. Like, it happens. Okay? You don't need to feel so much shame in it. But what I'm saying is, in order to get closer to your full potential, you need to take things more and more seriously, and that can be at a detriment to your actual life. And you need to structure your life to where that's something that you can do, and it's something that is an option for you. Fifth thing, and I'm going to say this very close to the camera, every top athlete has knowledge, Mr. Barseagull. I'm looking at you. Every top athlete knows what they're doing. All of them, when they sell their programs, when they sell their courses, when they sell their coaching, all of them, including me, go based on what they know, what works with exercise science principles, what works with practicality principles, and what worked for them, and what worked for people that they worked with. Once you get more advanced, once you get better, once you get to a level to where you have to take things so seriously that if you make a small mistake, then things go out the window. Things kind of go down a little bit. I'm kind of grazing that level now, and I'm at the strength level that I'm at, which tells me I have a very, very high peak, which is fantastic. You need to pick your own path. You can't just follow Zlat's program, or you can't just follow Ian Barseagull's program. You can't just follow this person's program and that person's program. You're going to have your own goals at certain points. You're going to have your own values when it comes to training. Once you get to that level to where you have the intuition and you can make your own decisions and you can make your own programs, do that. Use other people for knowledge, use other people for advice and insight and foresight. But once you get to the level of information and thought, you know how to program everything. Like, I know for a fact, if you give me any human in the world, I could probably put them together a very, very, very good calisthenics program. Because I've done it for myself hundreds of times, I've done it for other people hundreds of times, and all of them have made progress. Genuinely, never once have I made someone a program and they haven't made progress. Now, there's been modifications that need to be made. I'm not saying I get it outright correct every single time, but genuinely, 100%, no lie, as far as I can remember, never once have I made someone a program or helped someone and my advice didn't work if they followed it properly. That's a really good thing to be able to say. And a lot of people, a lot of young guys who have dedicated years of their life to learning about fitness and exercise and self-improvement and all this kind of stuff, they know the answers. You've gotten to the level to where you can make your own decisions on things. You don't need to have someone give you a program. Now, if it's something you're not familiar with, that's a little bit different. If there's someone who's a lot smarter than you and has different insights, obviously listen to them. But what I'm saying is, you know how your body works, you know how your programming works, and you know the principles that will allow you to get bigger, stronger, and better over time. Be intuitive. And when I say be intuitive, that means don't have a random plan. Make your own plan, but be intuitive with it. You know when you can progress. You know what certain pains mean. You know what certain mental fogs mean. You know what certain exercises you like versus works versus doesn't work versus don't like. You know all of these things. So roll with it. Form your own opinion on training. Become your own athlete. In the beginning, buy a course, buy a program, follow someone's advice 100% no question, because they are more advanced than you and they have coached people and they know what they're talking about. But once you get to a level to where you understand the system, to where you understand how the science and the principles work, branch off. Try things, experiment, become your own athlete, because that's when you're free and that's when you make the best progress, when you're not conformed just to one person. My job as somebody who influences you, because I do, you listening to this video up to this point, I've influenced you in some way. That's 100% a fact. Whether you like me, you agree with me, you don't like me, you don't agree with me, whatever. I've influenced you in some way. I am here to tell you that you need to become your own person. You need to listen to either everybody or nobody. You need to either have your own opinion or someone else's opinion. Have your own opinion because you are your own athlete. Your body is slightly different than everyone else's. So a training program that works for everybody, it can work 20% better if you modified it to you. Think about that, 20% more strength. Over the course of 10 years, instead of adding 100 kilos to your dips, for example, let's say your 1 rep max is 40 kilo dips. 40 kilos on a dip, that's not that strong, so you have a lot of room to grow. You add 100 kilos to that. Instead of only adding 100, you add 120. That's the difference between 140 and 160 kilogram dip. That's insane. That's a huge, huge, huge difference. So you need to be your own person when it comes to that. You need to be intuitive in that way and understand what brings you progress and what doesn't. Subscribe to me if you're not a nerd. If you are a nerd, subscribe to me twice, because this is the kind of content that if you're interested in calisthenics, self-improvement, if you're interested in progressing in your own life and in your training, this is the type of content you need to be watching. And only a nerd would watch this far into a video. And I'm saying that as a good thing. I praise you. I give you so much appreciation and you have so much respect, because so many people have attention spans. You know, most of my videos, people only watch up to 2 minutes. Think about how crazy that is. You only have a 2-minute attention span when I'm giving you the sauce. Now, I'm not saying I'm the most valuable human on the planet when it comes to street lifting, but I would say my takes are pretty good. You can only pay attention for 2 minutes? That's a really good watch time as well. Like, that's way above average. Most people, it's like 30 to 60 seconds. Mine's double that. Think about that. You have, if this video is, let's say 15 minutes after I edit it down, let's say 15 to 18 minutes, you're able to watch an unedited video, cut down, no weird like hit marker bullcrap, like you're able to do that for a long time, 5 times, 3 times longer than everyone else. That's absolutely amazing, and I give you praise for that, and I give you so much respect. If you're interested in boosting your progress, upping your trajectory by 100 times, go to the link in my bio. I have a free Discord community, always going to be free, always will be free. You can join it whenever you want. If you don't want to join it right now, that's completely fine, but I see no reason why not. Bunch of street lifting guys in there, a bunch of high-level athletes. I'm also in there, which is very, very nice. Some beginners, some intermediates, all that kind of stuff. People all at different levels and different stages, all just trying to help each other and all just trying to get better at street lifting and at calisthenics. If this has helped you, subscribe, join the community, like, comment, whatever. My name has been Brandon. Keep doing the best of doing your best. Trust God. Signing off.